This is exciting. We are coming to the end of the semester, and this is your opportunity to maintain awesome grades if that's what you have, or bring those grades up if you've struggled in the past. Now let's go over this together, and remember that at this particular point in the semester, I want to see those cyber cafes humming. I mean humming. I want to be able to demonstrate to the district that you have used this classroom as a dynamic forum for class discussions, for getting to know your fellow classmates, and so forth. So let's get those Cyber Cafe posts just humming. Let me just see all kinds of activity. And that's going to help with your participation grade, and it's going to help with everything that you have going forward for your discussion boards. Yes? Okay, let's look at what's left. I know, I'm super excited too. The documentary film study. Remember that that one includes a little bibliography because you're going to be talking about bias, and because you and I don't know anything unless we have researched it, then we need that working definition. Do not use the dictionary. Do not use Yahoo Answers or whatever other goofy sites are out there. You want to find a working definition of bias. Can you go to your cyber cafe and share with your fellow students where you found that awesome website? Of course you can. I would say, hey, I found this awesome definition for bias. It's not in Wikipedia. It's not in Yahoo Answers. It's an awesome website. It's like an EDU website, or it's one of those that's really a vetted, legitimate site. And you're going to follow those directions. Then you have the short narrative film, and that is a text entry. So yes, it includes your name and your course information and your word count, but it is a short paragraph, and it does not require a works cited page. So that's the good news on this. Then there's a little bonus that is really fun, and that bonus would add points to your documentary film. Some of you could use a few extra bonus points, and that might help. Others are just really going to be interested in this super fun and creative assignment. Then we have the hero archetype essay. And remember, that essay requires a great deal of study. You cannot just go in there and slap something down on paper and have it be correct. Remember to follow the instructions. There are tutorials in here. I've set this up for your success. This assignment is not set up for you to fail. It is set up for you to succeed. But it's also set up so that I can tell in 1 second whether or not you read all of the instructions or whether you tried to slide by. Let's take a look at one quick thing, and that is this little checklist. Now, I walked you through how to set up the final essay, but this is not a completed essay. It's just an example of me showing you the organization for the final thing. So that's a very important tutorial to watch. Remember, these word counts should be nice and high. This is going to be the word count for the essay, all of the revisions. That total word count should be good and high. Again, we're going to reach our 10,000 word limit. This is the checklist printed out in case you want to print that out and have it by your computer to make sure you don't forget anything. And all of the information. This semester, quite a few of you have had problems understanding how to punctuate a title. Some of you have made the mistake of starting a sentence with a title. We've gone over that, and in the classics essay, I showed you a graded essay. You can refer back to that to just sort of remind yourself, because this is an expansion of that particular essay. Now, remember, we're going to double space everything. We're going to have 1-inch margins. It's going to look beautiful. We're going to underline the thesis statement in the introduction. A minimum of 4 images of the character in motion. If you show a logo, you're going to see points deducted. If you show a poster, you're going to have points deducted. So here's an example. This is one I found on Flickr. It's not the greatest example I could ever find, but it does make the point. Hamlet fears commitment and rejects and humiliates Ophelia. Okay, and there he is doing exactly what I just said. So it's a picture says 1,000 words, and it demonstrates what I just said. Remember, you want a clear conclusion. You've gone through all this work to prove that the hero you have selected is a particular type of archetype. And your conclusion will end with something powerful, like a statement from one of your critical resources, or a statement from the character, him or herself. Something really powerful to bring home that essay and make it all beautiful. You're going to make sure that 22% of your essay should be properly quoted sources, because again, I don't know anything. I have to have research. If I say Hamlet says something, as I did back up here, remember, I need a quote. I'm going to follow this up with an actual quote of what he says. And the citation shows which scene number he says that in. Let's say I'm using a screenplay. I still have that screenplay text, and I'm going to use that text. I'm going to cite it in my works cited, and I'm going to say the page number when I quote from that script. I cannot quote from the film. I have to quote from the script. Yes? Good. And then this is a little document again on how to quote sources in a paper. Your works cited. By now, you all, I have written to you about works cited no less than 50 times. No less. Take time and make sure you complete the process. Then a completed outline is at the end of your essay. It's down at the very bottom, and this should be detailed about 2-3 pages long. So that's the outline. You just heard Dixie saying, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see these essays. Let's move on and look at the final essay that's due in just a little while. This is your final essay, and you can see that all of these pages are included. Each one of them contains information that stacks on the one that comes next. When you write the final essay, it will be clear to me if you read each of these important pages. For example, there needs to be a recurring symbol in this story that you're going to write. I look for that right away, and I have examples of that. I have tutorials for that, and it's one of the things that I see. Some students, not you I hope, but some students sit down and just start writing a story, and they just at the last minute try to turn something in. It is so clear that that has happened. And then I would like to say to you that 92% of the time, students take their time and turn in a beautifully crafted narrative essay. All of the components are explained here. Take your time and make sure that you can clearly demonstrate that you read each page of the module. It's all fun, and it's all important, and it's all designed for you to succeed. Okay, so you have plenty to talk about on your cyber cafe boards. You have film study that's not going to take too much time. You have a hero essay that's going to take some time that you might want to get some tutoring with, NetTutor, all the resources on campus. And the final essay where, again, use that cyber cafe. I would write on there something like, I'm creating my character and I'm thinking about having him or her do this, that, or the other. What do you think? Does it sound too cheesy? And if somebody asks you something like that, you don't have to write back and go, oh yeah, sounds awesome. You can write back and say, well, what about a different choice? Or that does sound like an interesting way, but it certainly is predictable. You want your narrative to be a little bit unpredictable. That's the irony. We want to see characters do something we wouldn't expect them to do. That's what makes literature interesting. So move on, carry on, and again, please read all of the instructions. That concludes this tutorial.